we've got a huge trade that just went down about 2 hours ago between the Lakers, Jazz, and Timberwolves. A big three-team trade where the Lakers are getting D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, and Jared Vanderbilt. The Jazz are getting Russell Westbrook, Juan Toscano Anderson, Damian Jones, and a 2027 first-round pick from the Lakers. And the Timberwolves are getting Mike Conley, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and 3 second-round picks. We got word that there were conversations going on between these three teams at around 3:30, 4 o'clock-ish. Nothing was made official until, like I said, about 2 hours ago. But we kind of thought something was going to happen after D'Angelo Russell and Jared Vanderbilt were both ruled out of their games due to personal reasons. What makes this even weirder is that the Jazz and Timberwolves not only traded with each other in the offseason with the whole Rudy Gobert trade, but they played each other tonight. So Mike Conley was warming up to play against the team that he was just traded to. But I do have my opinions about this trade for each team here. For the Lakers, props to them. Props to Rob Pelinka for getting this done. Now 2 trades already this season that have actually been beneficial to the team. The first one being with Kendrick Nunn and Rui Hachimura. Hachimura's been playing really well for the Lakers. But he's been able to turn Kendrick Nunn, Russell Westbrook, a 2027 first-round pick, and 3 second-rounders into Rui Hachimura, D'Angelo Russell, Jared Vanderbilt, and Malik Beasley. I mean, that's a solid trade deadline if you're asking me for Rob Pelinka and the Lakers. 25-30 is their record right now, 13th in the West. Obviously not what they were aiming for. Had probably one of the most disappointing seasons in NBA history last year, not even making the play-in. Or they made the play-in, but ended up not making the playoffs regardless. But now they're trying to make a push. We know LeBron just got the scoring title last night in a historic game, obviously. But we kind of, a lot of people were like, maybe this is the last time. Not only is it history that we see LeBron's historic shot, but it may be the last time that we see Westbrook and Anthony Davis and LeBron all play together. And clearly it was. Russ is heading to the Jazz, and he's not going to, play for them. He's probably not even going to fly to Utah. I'm going to talk about that in a bit, but just want to say, the Lakers fans have not had much to cheer about this season, so let's give them this to at least be happy about for a little bit. Now they, first got to make the playoffs. They're 13th seed in the West. They got to work on it. But this trade, I think, is definitely going to put them in the right direction. We know that the Russell Westbrook with LeBron and AD experiment was not going well. We learned that last season. They tried it again this year with Darvin Ham instead of Frank Vogel. It may have been even going worse this year. So they flip the switch and they go D'Angelo Russell. But, I mean, just this trade in general, they gave away Russell Westbrook, Damian Jones, JTA, which they haven't been doing much, and that 2027 first rounder, which is protected, but it's only 1 through 4, so it's basically unprotected. They're only giving Russell Westbrook and 1 first-round pick for D'Lo, Malik Beasley, and Jared Vanderbilt. I'm not going to say it's a bad trade for the Jazz. I'll get to them in a second. But just a great trade for the Lakers, only having to give up that 1 first-round pick. Now, they can do whatever they want with the 2029 first-rounder. They can keep it for the offseason, try to get another trade together, depending on how the rest of this season goes. Or they can see if they can try to get something going tomorrow before the 3 p.m. deadline as well. They do have Patrick Beverley and Lonnie Walker, Austin Reeves if they want to even discuss him too. Now, like I said, plus that 2029 first rounder, they can do a lot of different things. We'll see what happens, though. I wouldn't be surprised if the Lakers pulled off another minor trade, but I don't really expect anything major from them. But major props to Rob Pelinka, like I said, for getting this trade done for the organization. Next up with the Jazz, though, they're staying young. They trade away Mike Conley, who was, I think, probably the oldest guy on their team. And now 15 first-round picks through the year 2029, which is great for the Jazz, who obviously, after trading Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert last offseason, we knew what direction they were heading in, which is the rebuild. Now, you got Lauri Markkanen, Walker Kessler, Colin Sexton, Ochai Agbaji. Not only those, that young core right there, but more than $60 million in cap space, potential cap space, for this offseason, which is great for them. You do have a guy like Jordan Clarkson, who I wouldn't be surprised if we saw traded, not tomorrow, but probably like next offseason or something, depending on when he is a free agent, not sure when that is. But for a team that was expected to lose every single game, and I think in my prediction as well, was the 15th seed in the West. They're the 10th seed right now in a playing position, 27 and 28. A full 2 games ahead of the Lakers right now. So the Jazz have been looking good this year. I know Mike Conley's been a pretty big part of that, so we'll see what happens after that. Now that he's gone. But Lauri Markkanen, we know, is having a breakout season. Walker Kessler's been playing really well. Colin Sexton's been, doing his thing. Ochai Agbaji's been an okay rookie. But still, I don't expect the Jazz to make the playoffs or really finish with a top 3 pick in the draft. But you can really tell that they are heading in the right direction. Now, next up with the Timberwolves. I'm going to be totally honest, I'm not sure what their plan is here. What you're basically doing in this trade is flipping D'Angelo Russell for Mike Conley and Nickeil Alexander-Walker, but NAW has not really played many minutes this season, so I don't really expect them to do much for the Timberwolves. But we know that, they make the trade, they make a very risky trade for Rudy Gobert. And immediately everyone's like, oh, maybe Gobert and Cat can work. But then they go and look at the trade, and they gave up their whole future. Pat Bev, Jared Vanderbilt, Malik Beasley, 4 first-round picks, not to mention, like I said before, Walker Kessler as well has been playing really well this season for a mid-round rookie. I mean, the Timberwolves just really messed up in that trade, and now they have to pray that their starting lineup with D'Angelo Russell, Anthony Edwards, and Jaden McDaniels, and Cat and Rudy Gobert can work. Currently, they're the 9th seed, 29 and 28 in the West. It won't be good enough to really even make a push, at least make the playoffs. And I think that I had them barely making the playoffs in my Western playoff predictions. I wasn't very high on this team, and it's kind of showing now. I wasn't really I think I said in that video as well, I wouldn't be surprised if they traded D'Lo before the deadline. I may be totally wrong, but at least here we are with D'Lo being traded. But I'm just not sure what they're going to get out of Mike Conley that they couldn't get out of D'Angelo Russell. Like I said, I know that the D'Lo experiment wasn't really working this season. Like I said, only 9th in the West. But is it really going to change that much with Mike Conley instead? I don't see how they get better. I think if anything, they only get worse with this trade. So like I said, we'll see what happens though after this trade, getting the switch from Mike Conley at point guard. But I'm not a big fan of this trade for the Timberwolves. But now on to the final part of the video, the one that I've been kind of waiting for the most. Russell Westbrook. Like I said before, he's heading to the Jazz, but he's probably not even flying to Utah. Won't even play with the team if I had to put my money on it. He's more than likely going to be bought out, and I've just kind of been waiting on the news about Russell Westbrook. What we've seen so far from Chris Haynes is that the Clippers are interested and the Bulls are interested. And I talked about this trade. I talked about this move a couple weeks ago, or not a couple weeks, a couple days ago with the Dedmon trade video. That if the Jazz and Lakers, I didn't expect it to be a 3-teamer, but bottom line is that Westbrook goes to the Jazz and he'll get bought out, which is on track right now. The Heat are going to be waiting for him. And it's sounding like that's what's going to happen. But what makes it a little more difficult, at least for the Heat to decide if they want Westbrook, Gabe Vincent's balling out as we speak right now against the Pacers. 11 points in the first 5 minutes of the game. I think it's a close game going to the fourth quarter. But Lowry's been injured, has not been good at all this year. Are you really going to bring in Westbrook to be a third point guard on this team? And now the Timberwolves are a team that you could potentially, go and try and trade Kyle Lowry to, at least for a swap with D'Angelo Russell. But now that they obviously traded him to the Lakers and they get Mike Conley, they don't really need that point guard anymore in Lowry because obviously they can't trade Conley to us anymore. I don't really even want him. We're kind of in a tough situation. What I kind of want the Heat to do is get on the phone with the Clippers and try and give them a trade for Kyle Lowry. Now, I've seen a lot of people are split whether they even want Lowry or Westbrook. I'd kind of be fine with either, but it's just Lowry's not proven to be much. and I know Westbrook has been the meme of the NBA for the past season and a half, but he may be able to even add more than Lowry. And I know that sounds crazy considering that we were all over Lowry an off season and a half ago, but he's just done much. Mr. 0 points, 0 rebounds, 0 assists in the first half for the past 3 games, at least that he's played, because for the past other 3 games he's been injured. For the next 3 games he's also injured. So it's just a lot. Westbrook, he's injured here and there, but he's just never really off the court as much as Lowry is. And like I said, I know that he's been a meme, and I know that he takes stupid shots. I know that I'd get pissed at Westbrook really fast, but on the defensive end and on the spacing with Jimmy and Bam would definitely be some sort of an issue. They would have to try to work that out. But I'm just hoping that I'm sitting here tomorrow after school and the Heat's made a trade. Trade deadline is tomorrow at 3 p.m., currently 9:43 p.m. We're getting close to the deadline. I don't think we'll see any moves tonight, but definitely, obviously, tomorrow there has to be moves. After that, there can't be. We'll see what happens with that, though. Pretty big trade, at least, to get some excitement going, and it also has some, something to do with the Heat. We'll be back here if we can sign Westbrook, maybe within the next couple minutes. Probably won't happen, though, so we'll see you tomorrow for the trade deadline review, and I'm hoping that the Heat can actually make a trade that I'm in favor of. We'll see what happens, though. That'll wrap up. Hope you guys enjoyed. Have a great day. Peace.